What if you could play the Division 2, but outsource most of the violence to your turret and drone? This is my rigger skill build, designed for turret and striker drone pressure. On hard and challenging, these two basically start working over time. On heroic, you still need to shoot, because sadly, even in the Division 2, management has to contribute. The goal is simple. Keep your skills active, boost their damage, and let them annoy every enemy on the map until the mission is finished. This is one of those Division 2 builds where you start wondering, am I even the main character anymore? Because half the time, the turret is shooting, the drone is chasing enemies, and I'm just standing there like the unpaid supervisor. On hard and challenging, this build can feel very relaxed. Sometimes you barely need to shoot, but on heroic, don't get too comfortable. You still need to help your little robot employees do their job. This is my rigger turret and drone skill build, built for easy pressure, strong uptime, and very comfortable solo play. The whole idea of this build is simple. You send out the assault turret and striker drone, and they start causing problems immediately. The turret holds the area, the drone chases enemies around, and your job is to stay alive, control targets, and shoot when needed. This is not a weapon damage build where you are trying to personally delete everything with bullets. This is more like running a small business. You have 2 employees, 1 turret, 1 drone. They do the hard work and you step in when they start struggling. On hard and challenging, they perform very well. On heroic, enemies are tougher, so you need to actively shoot with Capacitor or test subject to boost your skill damage and help finish targets. So this build is comfortable, but not completely brain off. It rewards positioning, skill targeting, and knowing when to support your skills. First weapon option. Capacitor. Capacitor is basically the motivational speaker for your skills. Every time you shoot enemies, you build stacks, and those stacks increase your skill damage. That means your turret and drone hit harder, because you are actively shooting. It also gains weapon damage based on your skill tier, which makes it perfect for a skill build like this. So when you use Capacitor, you are not just shooting enemies. You are charging up your robot workforce. The more you shoot, the harder your turret and drone start hitting. Second weapon option. Test subject. Test subject comes with perfectly in sync, and this talent fits skill builds really nicely. When you hit an enemy, you gain skill damage. When your skill damages an enemy, you gain weapon damage. And when both buffs are active, the bonus gets even better. That works perfectly with turret and drone, because they are constantly attacking while you shoot. So test subject is a very easy, reliable option. You shoot, your skills shoot, everyone gets paid. For the chest piece, I'm using Impetus from Wyvernware. The important talent here is perfect kinetic momentum. When you are in combat, each active skill builds stacks while it stays active. Those stacks increase your total skill damage and skill repair. Since we are running both the assault turret and striker drone, this talent makes a lot of sense. The longer your skills stay active, the more value you get. Basically, the build rewards you for keeping your little machines alive and angry. And that is exactly what this build wants. Now the backpack is where rigger becomes really comfortable. The rigger gear bag gives complete uptime. This means cancelling your skills can reset their cooldown. That is huge. If your turret is in a bad position, cancel it and redeploy. If your drone is about to go down, cancel it and send it back out. If everything goes wrong, don't panic. Just recall your robot employees and send them back to work. This is why rigger feels so easy to play compared to some other skill builds. You are not stuck waiting forever for cooldowns. You can reposition and keep the pressure going. The mask is rigger. Nothing too dramatic here, but it helps complete the gear set and gives us skill tier. In this build, skill tier is everything, because we want the turret and drone doing the heavy lifting. More skill strength means more robot confidence. The gloves are also rigger. The rigger set gives you bonuses when you interact with your deployed skills. So if you are changing your skill target, using the skill, or directing it properly, you get extra skill damage. This is important because the build is not just throw the drone and go make coffee. You get better results when you actually manage your skills. The turret and drone are strong, but they still need leadership. The knee pads are another rigger piece. Again, this is helping complete the set and support the main playstyle. The rigger gear set is all about control, uptime, and keeping your skills in the fight. So even though the build can feel very relaxed on lower difficulties, you still get rewarded for playing smart. Put the turret in a good spot. Send the drone after priority targets. Don't just stand in the open like you are watching Netflix. For the holster, I'm using Waveform. Waveform is excellent for this kind of skill build because it generates skill damage stacks over time. The bonus alternates between your two skills. So one moment, your turret gets stronger. Then the bonus shifts and your drone gets stronger. It is like giving each robot a turn with the damage crown, because both the turret and drone are active most of the time. Waveform gives you consistent extra damage without needing complicated gameplay. It just works quietly in the background, which is exactly what we want. The first skill is the assault turret. This is your anchor. Place it somewhere with good line of sight, and it starts controlling the area. The turret is great for holding lanes, pressuring enemies behind cover, and distracting enemies so they are not always shooting at you. On hard and challenging, this thing can do serious work. Sometimes you place it down and think, okay, I guess I am just here for moral support. The second skill is the striker drone. This is the aggressive employee. The turret holds the area, but the drone goes hunting. It chases enemies, pressures targets behind cover, and keeps damage going while you reposition. This is why turret and drone work so well together. The turret says, I control this area. The drone says, nobody is safe. Together, they make this build very comfortable for solo play. On hard difficulty, this build feels very relaxed. The turret and drone can clear a lot of enemies with very little help. You still need to stay awake, but honestly, the skills are doing most of the work. This is a good difficulty if you want easy farming, relaxed gameplay, or just a comfortable solo session. Hard difficulty is where this build feels like the robots understand the assignment. On challenging, the build still feels strong. Enemies last a bit longer, so you may need to shoot more, but the turret and drone still carry a lot of the fight. This is probably the sweet spot for casual farming. It is active enough to stay interesting, but not so intense that you are sweating every encounter. For me, challenging feels like the best balance for the setup. Heroic is where the build becomes more honest. Your turret and drone are still useful, but they are not magical interns who can solve every problem by themselves. Enemies are tougher, they hit harder, and you need to support your skills with weapon fire. This is where Capacitor or test subject becomes important. You need to shoot to boost your skill damage, reposition properly, and make sure your turret is not placed somewhere useless. So yes, Heroic is playable. But no, you cannot just stand there eating chips while the drone wins the mission. On Heroic, you are part of the team again. The biggest strength of this build is comfort. It is easy to use, solo-friendly, and very forgiving. You have constant pressure from two skills, good uptime from Rigger, extra damage from Waveform, and strong support from Capacitor or test subject. It is especially good if you want a build that does not rely completely on perfect aim. If your aim is having a bad day, the turret and drone do not judge you. They just keep shooting. Overall, this Rigger turret and drone build is a very comfortable skill build for the Division 2. On hard and challenging, the turret and drone can do a huge amount of the work. On Heroic, you need to be more active, but the build still gives strong pressure and reliable skill uptime. If you want a relaxed solo build where your skills control the battlefield, this setup is definitely worth trying. It is not about hitting massive weapon damage numbers. It is about sending out your turret and drone and saying, "Alright boys, go earn your keep." And most of the time, they actually do.